I didn't think that completing a sketchbook in 8 hours was going to be as difficult as this was, but word to the wise, this is not for the weak. I saw evamalleyart do this on Instagram. She's an illustrator herself and did a 60-page watercolor book. It was a moleskin watercolor sketchbook, and one day I decided to try this challenge myself, but I decided to do 8 hours because I do work a day job, so I knew that I wasn't going to be able to do it straight through, and I have my business on the side as well, so I wanted to give myself enough time. So 8 hours, 8 days. Speaking of my business, it's called Magic Bean Shop, and my name's Tulani. I use he, they pronouns, and I make recycled and sustainable stationery, as well as do graphic design and illustrative work for different clients on the internet. If you'd like to follow me, I'm Magic Bean Shop on all socials, and Tulani Makina for just my art content. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the video. This was insane. I calculated it out, and I was supposed to do about 20 pages per hour, and that just did not happen. I was running some Instagram polls in my stories to kind of see what people wanted me to draw and to just get ideas for the different illustrations I did. So for the first few pages that you just saw, I decided to just stick with something simple to begin, and my partner gave me a bunch of little stickers to choose from and to make little gnome characters from the sticker designs. The second part, I decided to just kind of freehand my drawings, and I didn't really have anything in particular that I wanted to make, and I just wanted to scrapbook some things, add stickers where applicable, and just kind of draw whatever comes to mind, kind of like those food watercolor journals you see on Instagram. And then I was also taking Instagram prompts and any type of like sketch suggestions off of my stories, and so a lot of them were really creative and funny, and I was able to draw quite a few. One of them was the dragon crocodile monster that you saw previously. It was supposed to be Dunmeishi inspired, since I'm kind of obsessed with the show right now, and I made like a pizza crocodile monster with slime on its back as the ricotta cheese and razor sharp salami hands. And then the little donkey character, and there's some Fish Islands cats coming up and some pregnancy horses, but this little guy is my OC. He's a space cat and fox hybrid, and he was abducted by random human scientists in order to experiment on him to get him to the stars. He had always had a interesting fascination with the stars and space in general as a small cub, and one day the scientists spotted him near their little base and kidnapped him. From there, they began to run experiments on him, and eventually he became a huge cat-fox hybrid, going at 7 feet tall, trans, obviously, and was able to break out and then go find the legendary Laika in the stars. His spaceship's name is Guapo, and he's a solo traveler with selective mutism, so whenever he goes to the club, he's the one that's just standing in the corner. I liked doing that kind of exploration in this journal, but then after a while, I realized I only had 2 hours left and was an eighth of the way through this sketchbook. 160 pages is no joke, and so I decided to switch things up for the last portion. Still some little doodles and scribbles that I will definitely expound upon later, but for this purpose, I needed to do some 30-second, 45-second little warm-up drawings and cooldowns. So thankfully, quick poses and line of action are available to artists like me, and so I use those for most of the ending drawings. I always forget the importance of stretching your mind, stretching your hands, your body while you do art, and so I'm going to try and do that more from now on, because just practicing in this way before doing anything else was really, really refreshing, and I hadn't realized how long it had been since I looked at some pose references. My art education background is in media arts, and I went to an arts high school, and all they taught us at the arts high school was to copy exactly what we see from an image. And so after a while, I got tired of using references and have been on a journey since then to learn how to use my imagination while I draw. With that, I actually had to learn the fundamentals of art on my own. Art school for me, for college, didn't really do anything. I didn't go to like a proper arts academy. I went to USC in Columbia, and their arts program had zero funding when I was enrolled. And so you kind of just learned as you went in your projects, and I learned how to animate and different things about layout in my graphic design classes, which have helped me in my business. But as for the fundamentals of art and really understanding things like shape, line, composition, light and shadow, just all of these things like structure and anatomy, even backgrounds, was never really explained or taught to us. So I've been leveling up my drawing skills, and I have a whole playlist for that. If you would like to see it, then please feel free to share if you'd like me to make it public. But now this is my mission, to make sure that I do cool down and warm up sketches every session that I can and that I remember to make sure that I'm not getting burnt out and that I'm not rigid in my thinking about how bodies, animals, and nature in general moves. A lot of these sketches I will definitely revisit. A lot of these poses were very, very interesting to me. Even images like the capybara soup, I had it bookmarked. It's a sticker from a little bit ago, but I had it bookmarked because I wanted to revisit this design. Part of my business is that I have a Ko-fi shop, and from there I have like a little $5 sticker tier that I mail out monthly stickers to my members. I'm thinking that since in my region fall is approaching us somehow, it's typically the end of August to September, that the capybara soup will probably be the August reward, because it's still like an interesting choice for soup. It's still light and refreshing, and I think that my Ko-fi pals will really enjoy that. A lot of the things that I drew in this sketchbook were highly experimental. I haven't used crayons and colored pencils and gouache in so long, because most of my work pertains to digital illustrations and digital drawings, and so I don't really get to work traditionally as much as I would like to. But this sketchbook gave me the opportunity to just focus for just 8 days on doing traditional drawings and sketches and warming up that kind of skill set in my mind. That was also all I used to draw in, was colored pencil and watercolor growing up. So it's kind of like a skill that I'm slowly losing, but I'm trying to combat that as much as possible. Even some of the figures and animals that I drew later on, and eventually the still life shapes that I drew, I think I'll expound upon those themes as well and those ideas, and just make them into like full length illustrations, or just maybe just digitize them. I like some of these landscapes a lot, and I feel like my next step in leveling up my drawing skills is doing backgrounds and light and composition. So this interesting composition with the window view, or even things like this lake house and the waterfall that's on this next page, have very interesting compositions to me, and I want to know how I can get my art to look intriguing enough that people will stop for more than 10 seconds that the eye lingers on an image when walking in like a gallery or a museum. And even these, where I played with negative space, I really enjoyed this exercise because it forces you to focus on the figure in a different way. All in all, I want to thank evamalleyart specifically for creating this challenge. She ended up doing a 60-page watercolor Moleskine sketchbook for this, which is definitely significantly less pages than I chose, but I think for like the size purposes and that she's a full-time creator, I think that it worked really, really well for her. And all of her illustrations she's turning into a zine, so definitely check out her page. But I feel like all in all, even though this was an extremely difficult challenge to do and to come up with ideas and also draw quickly, like 30 seconds for most of these images, or 45 seconds in the end, it was still a really good exercise to warm up your brain and skills as an artist pretty quickly. And now you have a whole sketchbook that you finished, so it's like a huge feeling of accomplishment at the end. That's definitely how I was feeling in the end. But the huge sense of accomplishment that you have from finishing something this large and for so long was truly unmatched for me personally. I really like this challenge as well because most of the other art and drawing challenges that I see are like a month long. So when you think of Drawtober or Inktober or Mermaid or anything like that, there's always these super long prompts. I know a lot of them say like take it at your own pace, but it adds kind of like a lot of pressure for me, especially as an ADHD artist. I know that I'm only gonna probably have enough energy and like mental capacity to do it for a week and a half. That's as long as I've been able to manage. But I think with this, it's 8 hours that you have to commit, and that's it, and then you're done. And I think it's beautiful in that way. Overall, I had a lot of fun in this sketchbook and was able to play for the first time in a really long time with crayons and colored pencils and watercolors again. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.